Hey, bestie.
Hey, bestie, how are you today?
I'm tired, but I'm good. How are you?
You're surviving and thriving or just surviving?
Um, kind of. It depends, I think, on what area of life you're talking about. But yeah, I'd say sure, surviving and thriving. I'm great.
Okay,
How are you?
good. You get to see me this weekend.
I well, do I see you tomorrow too?
Well, I don't know.
Oh boy. Okay. Is that topic for later or
Well, guess who's back?
who's back? The squirrel?
Simon the squirrel is back.
Stop it. I'm like, who the hell would be back that would ruin that? Okay.
Yeah, he is back, and Colton can't come again until tomorrow. So
Oh no.
hopefully he'll be gone early enough that we can still come and for a little while. But
Yeah.
yeah, I was sitting in my office today, and all of a sudden I hear this noise. And I thought, well, we did just have snow. It could be snow and ice sliding off of our roof. We have a tile roof. And then it kept happening. And then it was moving around. And I was like, dang it. Because literally, Colton came last week and picked up the trap and
Stop. So that's not even down there
closed
anymore.
off. Yeah, closed off everything. So we thought we were free and clear. No, the trap was in the attic.
Oh, he had it up in the attic. I guess that makes more
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah.
Duh. Reasons why I'm not the squirrel catcher.
Yeah. So I don't
Hmm.
know. We'll see how long it takes him. But yeah. Simon has returned, unfortunately, and now he must go. Instead of
Poor
just being
Simon.
invited back outside, he will be forcibly removed.
Yikes. Poor guy. Okay, well, so tomorrow's questionable, but definitely I'll see you this weekend. Yay.
Yes,
Did you get
yes,
my Venmo, by the way?
yes,
Okay,
I
good.
did.
Wow. That's kind of crazy. He came back.
I know. I was so disappointed.
Yeah. It's a bummer for you and him.
Yeah, you may hear him later. You never know. I mean,
He's that loud.
he's pretty loud.
Wow.
Pretty loud.
I hope he enjoys the pod. Give him a good last night.
Yeah, I was sitting up here earlier. You sounded a little loud. I was like, I hope he's not coming through.
Oh my god, I would die if just from, like, the background we see a squirrel fly out of the wall or something.
You would die. I would die.
Yeah, we would die for different you'd be scared and I'd just be laughing. Love you, but sorry, that would be funny.
So Simon's got to go. I've got his eviction notice coming. So,
Hmm. Oh, I have a funny story for you.
okay.
You know how you always educate me on trying to not get murdered? I
Yes.
almost got snatched last night. So,
What?
that's a little dramatic, but also I don't know that it is. So, sometimes for my job, I have to work really late at night, through the night, whatever. That was one of those nights last night. So, we were all at one of our locations working, and then we were gonna move over to our main office area. Um, so I was the first one to get over there. I pull up and park in my normal spot and put my car in park, and it went click, unlock because I didn't change the setting. Oops. That's okay. I'm aware at least, right? I'm aware. So then I see headlights pulling up behind me. Mind you, this was about 1:30 in the morning. So like and where we were or where I was is like kind of tucked back. So it's not a high traffic area to begin with, and it was a 1:30 in the morning on Sunday night, Monday morning. So I just assumed it was my coworkers pulling up because they weren't far behind me. So then it kind of slows down behind my car. Also, I should point this out. Where my parking spot is, to get out of it or like go anywhere, all I can do is back up because it's like one of the front spots up by the building. So it kind of slows down behind me and honks its horn. So again, I thought they're here just messing with me. Haha, whatever. So I look in my mirror. I'm like, oh, that's weird. That's none of their cars. So obviously, I'm a scared girl. So I internally start to panic a little bit, but I'm like, they're not stopping fully. Like they're just slowing down. It's fine. Just it's fine. So I did immediately lock my door, and I kind of was just watching the situation because my car was already off too. So I was like, I feel like if they were behind me stopping, if I turn it on, that's like maybe gonna make it worse, whatever. So I lock my doors, I'm watching. They pull around to like the other end of the parking lot, park in kind of a weird, sketchy area. Like there's some different like storage trailer things, and they go and park like on the other side. So like it looks kind of like they're hiding, right? So I immediately turn my car on, I back out, I go up to the front of the lot where there's like pull through spots. So I can go straight, I can go back. I'm not blocked in if they whatever, I don't know. And I immediately call my coworker who's coming over and I'm like, "Where are you?" They were less than 5 minutes away. Everything ended up being fine, but like the whole time I was just like, Abby got me prepared for situations like this. And then I thought, If something happens, Abby's not even gonna know the full story. What a
So,
shame."
what were they doing back in the corner by
And
these storage
I don't
things?
know, um, because I have to assume something shady because A, of where they were parked, and then also when I went up to the front, I was on the phone with my coworker until they got there, and, they pulled so where I was, basically, you would go straight to get to the front lot where I was, and then if you go to the right, it goes up to, like, another, parking lot, shopping center thing up above where we are. So, I watched them, and it was kinda weird because they slowed down again, so I was like, "Are they slowing down because they see me?" Like, my headlights were on, my lights were on, everything, whatever. So I'm like, "Are they gonna come over here? Or are they just looking for someone else and maybe they had thought I was whoever they're trying to I don't know." It was weird. But I was up in the front, they went to the right up to the upper lot, and then my coworker came. We went in, locked the door behind us, and everything was fine. We never saw the car again. So, probably nothing, but also, like, kinda weird.
Yeah, I think I'd call the cops.
Oh, really?
Well, it just seems like it was shady business. I would have
Yeah,
reported maybe the non-emergency line, but
yeah,
I would have said, "Listen, these people are doing something shady in this lot.
yeah.
I know there's storage units over there. Might want to send somebody to do a little drive-by."
We'll check, yeah. That honestly didn't occur to me because I was tired, and I was just like, "I wanna get in here and get my stuff done." But noted for next time. Hey, at least I locked my doors. That's
Yeah,
good, and I thought to get to a parking spot that I could go either direction. Like, that's something, right?
yeah. I mean, my bonus dad was a cop, and he always said, "If you don't feel right, follow your intuition and call us." He said that he'd rather it be a false alarm
Yeah.
than for you to try and be nice
Yeah. Oh my
and
god, no.
not call them.
Yeah, no. And see, that's the thing that I can't decide. Like, I don't know that I felt like something was off or like it was a bad situation or could have been a bad situation, or if it just kinda took me off guard because I knew someone was coming, like, I was expecting someone to show up, so then when it wasn't them, it kinda scared me to be like, "Well, who is that?" You know what I mean?
But see, I think you can
I
explain
don't
those
know.
situations away after the fact when it turns
Yeah,
out to be nothing.
yeah, for
Always assume
sure.
it's something.
Yeah. Well, I kinda did. I locked my doors and I went to safety, and, oh my god, I ended up, like, being entertained because there was deer crossing the road, so I was just like, "Take your time, I'm just watching the deer. Me and the deer will be just fine."
Saved by the deer.
Yeah, so it was all good. But the whole time I was just kinda like I guess not the whole time I was thinking of you and all the tips you've given me, and then afterwards, I was like, I mean, thankfully nothing happened, but if so, Abby wouldn't have even known the story. What a shame that would have been.
Seriously, though, you
Yeah.
can never be too safe,
Yeah, that's true.
especially these days.
Yeah. No, I feel like I'm good at in situations like that always assuming the worst, but I guess not to the extent that like, it really did not occur to me ever to call and let them know to maybe come do a little loop?
Yeah.
Also, if I'm being real honest, I don't know that I think our police are short-staffed, and I don't know that they would have done it anyway. I don't know if I should say that, but I think they've got other things that take priority over that.
Could be, but you
Yeah.
never know.
Yeah.
I've had to call the non-emergency line a few times.
Have you?
Well, yeah.
Like recently?
No, not recently. But, I live in the city and
Mhm.
sometimes there's randos passed out in your yard.
Yeah. That's not good.
Things like that.
Yeah.
Please come take them away.
Right. Please, yeah. One time when I was in no, I guess I had graduated college like a year or 2 before this. So like still college-ish, whatever. I lived in an apartment that was downtown and my now ex, we lived together there and he was leaving to go to work and he opened our front door and there was a homeless man laying on our welcome mat like up against the front door.
Yikes.
Yeah. So, of course, he went out the sliding back door because we were on the first level, and then I locked it because I had time before I had to go. So I was like, "No big deal, they'll leave before I have to go, like, it's fine." He's like, "Okay, call if something like, I feel like I shouldn't leave, but also, like, oh, what are we gonna do?" And I'm like, "Yeah, it's fine." So then hours go by, and I get ready to leave, and I open the door, and I'm like, "Oh, he's still there." So then I called my mom because what else would it like, an 18-year-old do? 19? I don't know. Called my mom for the answer. And she was like, "Stephanie, do not step over him to leave your house." And I'm like, "You know me so well." I thought I could just sneakily tiptoe over, lock the door, and be on my way. And like, surely by the time we got home, he'd be gone. She was like,
Your
"Do
ex didn't
not."
make him leave?
No, it was because that's when he worked like so early in the morning. So that's why I was like, I had like 4 or 5 hours before I had to go. So I'm like, surely by then, like he'll be up and on his way. I was very wrong. So I think I did at that point. Like I let him go a little bit longer to see if he would just go naturally. But I think I did have to call and be like, "Hi, help. I don't know. I got to go to work and I don't really know what to do."
Yeah. Hi.
Hi.
Hi, friend. How are you?
I'm good. How are you, friend?
Good. Are we ready for this week?
Are you ready for this week? That's the question.
I don't know.
I'm ready. I'm so excited.
You, I hope you're ready to go deep. And actually, I have one question before we dive in.
Boy.
Are you both close enough to go through this?
Yes.
I
Very
hope
good.
so.
Yeah.
What do you mean you hope so?
I have to say, the astrology of right now is, I'm just realizing this. It's like, this is like the perfect time to talk about past lives when we're in a Mercury retrograde in Pisces and the moon literally just moved into Pisces. I just now made that connection. This is like perfect timing.
Does
So,
that mean something special for me because Pisces is my moon?
yeah, so it's your lunar return.
Is that good?
Yeah.
Your returns kind of scare me a little bit. I'm
No,
not
no,
going to lie.
no. No. Lunar return is definitely a good thing. I look forward to my lunar return every month.
Yay.
It's like
Okay.
a reset. It's like a reset of the energies for the coming month, and can also,
God bless.
yeah, can also give you some insight in terms of what to expect
Okay.
in the coming months. So, yeah.
Okay, good. Love. Yay.
Awesome. So, to kind of back up for a minute, so we asked Marcy to talk about past lives because Steph and I were watching a documentary on Netflix called Surviving Death. And it's a fascinating documentary. I think there's only like 5 or 6 episodes that are about an hour long about various aspects of life and death and people who came close to death and, claim to have had this comeback, that they were aware of things that were happening, on the operating table or what have you. But one of the episodes is about them interviewing people, children mainly, who remember their past lives. And when I say remember their past lives, remember it so well
Mm-hmm.
that they have details that only that person could have known about their past life. So I remembered when you did my first birth chart reading that you told me about past lives.
Yeah.
And so we find this all fascinating. So I'm so excited for this week.
Yes. Yes. Well, that show sounds fascinating in and of itself. So, before we get started on kind of looking at past lives from an astrological perspective, I should preference this. Astrologically, when we talk about past lives, it's really about the intention of what are you here to let go of and what are you here to lean into. So I can't really get into details. So, like, kind of what you're describing, I really can't speak to a certain amount of details. Like, I'm not going to be able to tell you, Steph, you were a banker, and Abby,
God, I don't think that's right.
and Abby, you were, I don't know, a dancer. I don't know. I definitely cannot get into that level of specifics. So I can only kind of talk high level about what is it that was brought with you when you came into this life and what are you here to lean into, but also what are you here to let go of? That's really where the astrology comes in from a past life perspective. Questions before I dive in, Steph? It sound like look
No,
like
I'm so ready.
okay.
I'm like antsy pantsy, ready to go.
Okay, great. All right. So that's kind of where past lives comes into play. So in astrology, we believe that when you are born, you are not born with a blank sheet of paper. You are not necessarily coming into this world brand new with nothing behind you. You are coming into this world with a past. And depending on your belief when it comes to past lives, that past, that word past, can refer to, your previous life, meaning, let's assume you are your age you are, but that could mean, 10 years ago. It could mean your childhood. It could mean things that you inherit from your family. And I don't mean just financial, I mean other stuff that comes into play there. But it can also mean your past lives that come with you. It's kind of like karmic baggage, if you will, that comes with you in this lifetime. And from an astrological perspective, the goal here is not to necessarily dwell on it from a past life perspective, but to understand this is the place where you're coming from, but also the place that you need to let go of. Because there are some things, there are some behaviors, there's some patterns that you have with you today that are not serving you that we all need to let go of. And I'm certainly speaking from a point of student and not mastery. I am still working on letting go of these as well. And so I can attest that it's not easy. But that's the thing with this kind of past life influence is that when you think about the things that you need to let go of, the universe is asking you to let go of because it's also your comfort blanket, if you will. These are things that they're kind of like your go-to things. Like when you think about a cold winter day and cozying up with, a blanket and a cup of chicken soup, like that's how these things feel. They feel comfortable to you. And they feel comfortable because they came with you. They're part of you. They're part of that past life karma that you showed up with. On the contrary, the astrological charts that you are born with, your birth chart, is asking you to let some of that go and lean into something else because you are here to evolve as a human being. You're not here to stay stagnant. You're here to grow and to lean into other qualities and traits. The problem with that, there's two problems. Number one, when you talk about leaning into these other qualities and traits, and I'll get into more specifics here in a second, it doesn't feel comfortable. I'm probably going to talk about things and there's might be a part of you that's like, no thanks. Because again, these are like growing pains for you. That's kind of what these feel like. They're behaviors, patterns, mindsets, details that um, the universe is asking you to continue to develop as you go about your daily routine or you go about your life in general and really leaning into your overall life purpose. Now, one question I get often from my clients, if I do talk about past lives and I talk about life purpose and I talk about your soul's purpose, that's essentially what we're talking about is your soul's purpose. It can come across, and a lot of what we're going to talk about today can come across as a little frou-frou or a little woo-woo, if you will. Like, okay, past lives, leaning into my soul purpose. I'm just trying to make it to Friday. What are you going to tell me today that I can at least get to Friday? And why is this important? Let's bring it down to the practical level. And I think that is so important because when you lean into your overall purpose according to your birth chart, it's not a flip of the switch. So it's not like you're going to wake up one day as you continue to lean into your birth chart and find $1 million on your front porch. You're not going to wake up one day and have all the gifts you've ever wanted sitting in front of you, or finally being that person you've always wanted to be. But what will happen, or what does happen, is that slowly but surely you start to make incremental improvements to your life, and you start to kind of work from a place of contentment, from a place of joy. And when you continue to kind of work in that space and move towards that space, that's where self-confidence comes from. That's where happiness comes from. What's the secret of life? The secret of life is leaning into your North Node from an astrological perspective.
What's your North Node?
So that's kind of your soul's purpose. That's when I
Okay.
talk about what needs to be let go and what you need to lean into. It's like your guiding point of your astrological birth chart is your North Node. Or you can also refer to it as like your North Star, if you will, but from an astrological chart. So I won't get into the details of the nodes and what they mean. That's a little technical. But I wanted to kind of preference this conversation with that again, what I'm going to talk about is it's higher level. I'm going to speak to kind of high level of what past lives you're bringing with you into this life, what you need to let go of. And again, what are your gifts? Because you don't need to just throw away all of this stuff. There are some gifts that you come with as well. It's not all stuff to let go of. There are some gifts in that, and how you can continue to lean into how we can continue to push you to your North Node, or again, your life purpose. The other thing I will say, when I first learned about this part of the birth chart, the astrological birth chart, I felt very exposed. I felt like, oh my gosh, someone sees all of my faults and all of my bad habits, and they just called it out. So that's why I want to make sure, when I mentioned to you both earlier, like if you're prepared to go deep, this can be extremely healing and like, oh my gosh, you are right. I never knew this about myself, but I see it. Or it can just feel very exposing and kind of feel like a little vulnerability, if you will. So that is the beauty of recording this podcast ahead of time. You can always cut out what you're not comfortable sharing.
We cut
I
out
feel like I need to take
nothing.
notes.
Yeah, feel free to take notes. Okay. So that being said, before we get started, what I've prepared is I prepared both of you. So I went through both, Abby, your past lives and how that's showing up and what you need to lean into, but same thing for you, Steph. So I figured we can just go through each one of those. And then I assume we still want to talk about Aries season coming up, right?
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
change of seasons. Okay. So we're good?
Yeah. Yay.
Okay.
Buckle up.
All right. So Abby, I'm going to start
Buckle
with
up,
you
bitches.
because your name starts with an A and it comes before S.
Oh my God.
Highly technical around here. Okay.
All right. I love this.
So what was your past life? So someone who, again, this is going to be a little bit high level, but someone who's living in a state of disillusion of ego, through meditation, spiritual quest, a monk, for example, a spiritual person, spending times in situations where someone else told you what to do, kind of letting go, like let go and let God, letting the universe guide you on your wishes and what you want. Losing yourself in something that was bigger than you, having that feeling or that connection with the universe in some kind of metaphysical, spiritual way. Like, for example, losing yourself in art, in music, in literature, but maybe giving too much time to fantasy or visionary exploration, getting too caught up in the world of fantasy, and really having this strong urge to um, to want peace and oneness with the world, like harmony with something that was just like part of you, like giving yourself up for the greater good type of feeling and having that feeling of connectedness. So it's that kind of persona that is a lot about your past life. So how that typically shows up in your life today, and you tell me if this resonates with you. There's also different ways this can show up. So what I'm describing can manifest in many different ways. So, keep me honest here in terms of how this might show up for you. But what you're here to let go of, because again, this is some of the karma that you've brought with you to this life. But so what you're here to let go of, and then I'm going to talk about the gifts. What you're here to let go of is getting lost in that fantasy on a regular basis. And when I say lost in that fantasy, like getting too caught up in your thoughts and the vision of what could be, that then you might be disappointed to what real life is in some way, shape, or form. Daydreaming, staying in the background. Sometimes when things feel chaotic, stressful, crisis mode, there might be a part of you that pulls back or that tries to hide even, that tries to stay a little bit hidden if something feels really uncomfortable or overwhelming. Instead of addressing it or jumping in or whatever, there might be part of you that's like, conflict, for example. There might be part of you that really steps back. Escapism. Escapism can be healthy or not healthy, but spending too much time in escapism, going with the flow to the point that it's detrimental. You may have found this type of behavior shown up more specifically in your work or in your daily life or even in your health. And when I say health, what I mean is it could very well be that, for example, and I've had a client like this where they have like chronic digestive issues. I'll try to keep this clean, but chronic digestive and their doctor's telling them, you cannot eat wheat. You cannot eat wheat. And they are like, no, I love my bread. I love my pasta. And they just continue to do it and thinking there's going to be another outcome. It's like taking the back seat to the issue. But until they really got serious and took this serious and made practical steps to improve this and to really cut it out, they never saw improvement. It's like that mentality, especially when it comes to your health, like taking the back seat instead of getting in the driver's seat and making things happen. Perhaps liking to take the day as it comes versus having a very strict schedule, like maybe having a project plan or being bound by meetings during the day can feel exhausting or restrictive. Or being too caught up in the not details. Like, here's my vision of how I want something to work, but not wanting to get into the minutia. Or if you do have to get in the minutia, you're maybe exhausted afterwards. So I'm going to stop there. Any of this resonate?
Yeah.
Your feedback?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I think I've said before that I would rather keep the peace than to speak my piece.
Yeah.
And it's sometimes to my detriment. And I think you mentioned it in the career. And I think that's exactly where you see it in the sense that I will take the back seat. I've realized there's times when I've realized the person that I'd become on the job was not the person that I wanted to be any longer. But instead of taking those steps to do something else or do something different, I just was quiet because I didn't want to rock the boat.
That is exactly it. That is exactly it. And giving up. That was the other word I was going to say, is like kind of like that giving up mentality, or again, feeling like you're in the back seat on some areas, but that's not the reality. You're not in the back seat. And almost like acting from like a point of helplessness as well.
Yeah.
So that can definitely resonate. The second part of this is you're also kind of born with, again, this is from an astrological perspective of an area where you might have wounding, wounding. So wounding, where through no fault of your own, you show up in this world with a wound. And you might find that you are taking your entire life to, sometimes that's exposed and it feels very, what's the word? Like wounding, but it's like someone just itch to scab off. And now you feel very exposed every time something happens with this particular dynamic. And for you in particular, they they may have no. There may have been a wounding related to your self worth or someone telling you that you weren't good enough in some way, shape, or form. Again, this could be years ago that this was an interaction with a person. This could be your childhood. This could be something inherited from your family, or it could be a past life. So all those options are on the table. Or there was some restriction to finances in some way. Or you may find yourself with a little bit more of a scarcity mentality when it comes to money, like feeling like I don't want to spend too much, or we have to save more. Or sometimes people feel like, there's always a saver and a spender in a relationship. That dynamic typically exists. And you may find that you're more conservative in that area.
I would tell you that Casey 1000% disagrees with you on that one.
Yeah, I was just thinking that as I was saying that. I was like, she's married to Casey.
No.
So the other way that this might manifest is, again, from a job perspective, feeling like even though you get a job and you get a title, that there's always something that's missing from that job, or feeling like I should have something better than this. I should be in a role that has a bigger title, that speaks better to my skills, my assets. Like always feeling like there's a little bit of a disconnect in terms of what you're doing versus what you know you're capable of doing. Or maybe if someone comes up to you and says, "Hey, you should really go for this advanced such and such role," and there might be a big part of you that feels terrifying to you to put yourself out there in that way. So I don't know if any of that resonates.
Yeah, I'd say it's probably the latter example that you
Yeah.
gave is I think often I'm encouraged to do something bigger, and I'm usually the self-doubter who's, "Well, but I haven't had this title yet, but I
Yes.
haven't done this yet."
Exactly, exactly.
Yeah.
And so that all probably comes back to that wound I was describing earlier, that again, it's no fault of your own. You showed up with this wound. But the really cool thing about it is, like, now that you can name it, you can say, okay, it's not necessarily accurate that I can't have this role or I can't have this position. This is just my initial thinking based on my astrological profile. So I have the power to change that. I have the power to heal that mentality and to approach things different.
It's interesting that you bring that up right now, given that I've just kind of switched and done a total new approach.
Yeah. Yeah. I have so much to say when we get into what you're here to learn to lean into. I've got a lot to say about this one. All right. So it sounds like that resonates in terms of kind of painting that picture of kind of how you showed up, essentially, from an astrological perspective. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. I was gonna say, I've noticed about myself too, like, you said the monk thing. I've noticed about myself that I get most upset when I don't feel like I'm being heard, because I usually take the time to be very calculated in what I say and how I address people. And so when I finally speak up, if I don't feel like you're listening to me, like, that's usually a huge trigger for me,
Yes.
and I lose my shit.
Yeah. I can identify with this because same, same. Yeah. And speaking of that, so as I mentioned at the beginning, when you come into this world, into this life with this astrological chart, and you bring some of this with you, this karma with you, there are some gold nuggets in it. It's not all things that we just have to completely disregard and, throw out the window. The gold nuggets for you is your compassion, is your ability to see other people for who they are, for what they have been through, and be able to identify and support that. So you might be able to look at someone and say, or have a lot of sympathy for them because you know their life circumstance. And that can make you a very generous person. But similar to what you just mentioned, it can also make you vulnerable for people taking advantage of you as well. People taking that generosity, that compassionate side of you and going overboard. So I can completely understand when you feel like, okay, I just finally stood up for myself and put a boundary in place and they disrespected me for it, or they didn't hold my boundary. That
Mhm.
that's very triggering because it took a
Yeah.
lot to do that. And you also have that gift. You can see other people's boundaries and you can be very clear that you are going to respect that. So when someone doesn't reciprocate that, it can, yes, it can very much throw
Yeah.
you off course in that way.
Yes. Yep.
Also for you, in terms of those kind of gold nuggets, as I meant to, very forgiving of others, being of service, kind of having being of service, but also kind of having a natural, what do I want to call it? Like a natural, easy rapport with coworkers and building good work relationships with your peers in the office. Having more of that healing mentality, being like a doctor, a nurse. Not that you're going to be a doctor or a nurse at this stage in your career, but having.
It's funny that you say that because I had a dream the other night that I went to med school.
Oh, that's hilarious. um, but doing something that's like in a healing way because you have that ability to be of service and to help people because of that level of compassion and forgiveness and understanding, if you will, but also an understanding of the bigger picture and what that bigger picture might be. So you're not necessarily someone who's going to get so caught up in the day-to-day details. You can see the bigger picture and understand how it needs to translate to the here and now. So where does that leave you in terms of, okay, those are all the things you need to let go of. Those are all the things you need to be aware of. Now, how do you move forward? This is about, okay, where is what I referred to earlier, your North Node or your overall purpose. And you are here to, and this is going to sound silly and basic, but it's not. You are here to create routine, to get down to the practicalities of life and to really focus on your job, your health, your family life, and how do you keep all of it together and balanced and make room for all of it in your day-to-day life. So when I listened to last week's, or I guess it was a week and a half ago now, the vault session, I can manage
Yeah.
myself. I'm like, oh my God, this is like the best manifestation I've ever seen of someone putting to use their North Node in Virgo in the sixth house to get very
And I didn't
technical.
even know it.
You didn't even know it. But the whole time I'm listening to this, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so perfect for Abby because if you think about kind of how you felt before doing this, I'm assuming, I'm making some assumptions here, but I'm assuming there wasn't a ton of structure into your days being at home, and you're probably just taking the day as it came. And there might be some components that you had a little bit of a better routine. But then it kind of got to a point where like, I don't feel good anymore. This doesn't feel right. And it's when you kind of had this realization of what are the daily habits that I need to do? And you even spoke to the daily habits and I can
Yeah.
manage myself of what I need to do, the little things that I need to do in order to, continue to be a better version of myself. I mean, I was listening to it in the car. I'm like, oh my gosh, yes. And I cannot believe we're going to be talking about past lives and your North Node and your purpose, because this is exactly it. It sounds so basic and simple, but that is exactly what you are here to do, is to bring that sense of self-discipline and forcing yourself to kind of live by a schedule, which I'm sure at sometimes sounds exhausting to have meetings set and time set and routines and showing up for this and showing up for that, even though you don't feel like it. But that is exactly what you need to do. Also doing something of service, which again, I feel like this um, ICMM initiative is exactly of service. And I mentioned earlier, doing something of a healing sort. Again, I feel like you're
Yeah.
helping other people by kind of sharing this message. And then, there's so many like astrological things going on that like led to this. I love it. I thought it was awesome. I was very excited to hear it.
Who knew?
Who knew? We're-
Apparently Marci did.
yeah, exactly. You also, as I mentioned, one of your gifts is being a visionary and being able to see the bigger picture. But your job on this earth is to take that bigger picture and make it tangible. And you actually have a gift to do that. So it's being able to see the big picture, but then being able to break it down into, okay, here's how to make it happen. it can also be very easy for you to get lost in the fantasy of life. And it's really, really important that you keep yourself grounded by leaning into the day-to-day realities or connecting with other people on the day-to-day realities, whatever that might be. For example, let's say you have an argument with somebody, and again, there might be a part of you that gets so caught up in a fictional storyline, and maybe you start spiraling like, oh my gosh, this relationship is ending. I'm so nervous. That is a tendency that can happen with this placement as well. And you need someone to kind of talk to kind of help bring you down to reality. Like, okay, they just didn't respond in 24 hours. Everything's okay. I'm being dramatic here, but I think you get my point.
Yeah. I was going to say the storyline that you've told is honestly the process that I've used to kind of work through and get to where I am today. You know, I was kind of stuck in a healthy pattern of dreaming about things, thinking about things, trying to manifest things without really doing anything. And it took me getting signs, being told, being open to getting signs from the universe or whatever it may be to realize I'm in an unhealthy pattern here. So I do like routine. I like a little flexibility in the routine. But what I was doing was I thought I was in a routine that was going to lead to something and I was letting everything else go. And when I realized this isn't the routine that I need to be in, I need to make sure that these other parts of my life are also moving forward
Exactly. Yes.
and stop just planning for this one thing and dreaming about this one thing. And, that's where I realized I need to make the biggest change for myself. And honestly, this last week, just people reaching out and sharing their stories, people I haven't heard from in forever. I'm just, it's just been so rewarding for me beyond what I thought it could be.
Yeah. Yeah. And and just to get a little bit geeky for a second, but again, when I was thinking about when I was listening to your podcast and the vault session, and I remember, I don't know if you remember this, but about a year and a half ago, we were doing a reading, and I said to you, you are entering this stage where you're really reevaluating your life path and how you approach life and who you are and how you show up. So just be open to what that can mean for you going forward. And then we are in eclipse season because that's talking about the eclipses in significant areas of your chart. And like in eclipse season, you announce this new approach and you announce this new idea that you have. I'm like, oh my gosh, if you even knew the significance of this astrology, it's blown. Oh, also Mercury is retrograde in your first. I mean, it's just so perfectly timed.
Well, I have to credit you because I think I told you I have this new idea. And you said, oh my gosh, Mercury Kazemi is happening on your ascendant on the 6th. It's a great day for you to try new things.
Yeah.
I thought, okay, I'm just going to go for this. I wasn't quite ready for it, but it's working.
Yeah, exactly. I love it. I love it. An astrological geeky here. So the last thing I would say to kind of round out, and again, I can certainly speak from experience that sometimes that structure and that getting to the practical details and even something as simple as deciding to clean your house can help you get out of that swirling fantasy or whatever that might be to getting you back into the reality of things or the reality of the situation. And then again, what I would say lastly is boundaries, to remember boundaries, as we kind of shared that example earlier. But that's another thing because coming from kind of that monk mindset where everything was fluid, it's really asking you to be more firm in what's going to work for you or not. So, any other questions?
No, my mind's spinning right now. I'm sure I'll have some.
Yeah. Very good. Okay. Stephanie, you ready? Okay.
Yes.
Your past life. A hard worker, definitely a hard worker, a farmer,
A
landholder, builder,
farmer.
someone who is focused on material possessions and gaining more for themselves in some way or money, or coming from a place of feeling like maybe you never had enough. from a material perspective. Like,
Can you stop for just a second?
yep.
I was going to say, Stephanie, it's kind of funny that she said you were a farmer in the past life because I've always thought a farmer would be a good match for you.
It's just me, myself, and I. That's all I need. Thank you.
That is too funny.
But again, when do you randomly think this and not tell me these things? That is so crazy.
I did. I told you to watch the McBee Dynasty.
Okay, that's a whole nother discussion. Keep going, Marci.
But again, these are just personas. These are not
Yeah.
real people. This is, again, more high level. But walking through life with a little bit of the mentality of, I need, once I have this, then I will be able to do X or Y, or that feeling of I need possessions, I need materials, I need things, products, or money. Just feeling like you need more of that before you're able to move forward. Again, there might be a tendency to accumulate things in some way, but also someone who comes from a source of rigidity. Sometimes what I would call a fixed value system, or someone who comes from a place of, I know what needs to be done, and that's it. End of story. Don't try to tell me any other way. Like, this is how it is. If someone tries to introduce another idea for you, they might be met with, no, that's not it. I know what I need to do. A very clear sense of knowing what is needed in a situation, but almost to a fault. Again, kind of that sense of rigidity that can keep you stuck in some ways. And again, I say like a fixed value system, like you can be very firm on what it is you believe in and what it is you don't believe in. And that is correct. And everything else is wrong. I say that in the nicest way possible.
Yeah.
And maybe even closed off in some situations. Like you might find it harder to open up, especially emotionally. And this is actually a really big topic for you coming up here.
Great.
Yeah. But you might also find that as well. It's just feeling like I need to be steady. I need to be stable. I need to be in control when maybe actually you don't. So does any of that resonate?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So when we think about, the wounding part of it, like, again, similar to what I was talking about with Abby, is when you do show up here, you're not showing up as a blank sheet of paper. You definitely came here with a wound that is through no fault of your own. It's something you show up with. So,
Okay, hold on. I have a question.
Yeah.
So everybody has a wound that they show up with?
Everybody.
Okay.
Yeah. That's another reason why I love astrology, is because it's the great equalizer. We all have challenges that are articulated in our birth chart. We all have strengths. They're all different. But we all come with a past life from an astrological perspective. We all come with a wound, and we all come with a natal Saturn. I didn't even pull in Saturn for this discussion, but Saturn is also an indicator in your natal chart about what you find challenging and difficult and hard. I didn't even pull that in for today's discussion, but everybody has it. And that's kind of why I love it too, is because we all have those things. And we can all speak to those. So, from a wounding perspective, you may find yourself getting super uncomfortable talking about deeper topics like finances, power dynamics in a relationships. Maybe mental health makes you a little bit more uncomfortable. Mortality even might make you uncomfortable. Or you may find yourself with a big fear around loss or betrayal, or people leaving you unexpectedly, people betraying you without your knowledge. There may be issues that you find with trust in a relationship. It might take you a while to get to a level where you really feel comfortable trusting somebody. And again, hesitancy of sharing more of your emotional side with those closest to you, or letting your walls down, if you will, and really connecting with people on a very vulnerable emotional level. Yes, no.
So I would say some of this surprises me, and then other is like, oh, there it is. Yeah, I get that. Because I'm good. I think well, I don't know that I'd say good is the right word, but I'm good at like knowing that I am comfortable and trust someone somewhat off the bat. And maybe I don't fully trust them then, but like I know they're trustworthy. So as I get to know them or whatever, like they're a safe person, I guess, for me. So like I'm comfortable to get deeper and more vulnerable with those people, but otherwise, yeah, I won't scratch the surface,
Mm,
really.
yeah, that's good. This might also manifest, though, in finances. It might also be harder for you to kind of share finances with another person, or like think about bigger investment type purchases might be something that you kind of shy away from as well.
Yeah.
I don't know if you find that.
Yeah. I think, yeah. I mean, I think for me, it's those things are like scary
Yeah.
because I just don't know about them.
Yes. Yes.
So it's the thing where it's like, it's easy since I don't know, it's easier to not know and just not do it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Which is not probably good, but that's okay.
Yeah. But I mean, we all have them, but yes,
Yeah.
that's exactly what I'm speaking to. Like, there's like a fear behind that. There's, it feels overwhelming. Like even
Yeah.
thinking or talking about it can make it feel overwhelming. I mean, I know one client, very similar placement, and just looking at her bank balance every week, every month was like, it was really hard for her to even
Mm.
do that.
See, I used to be like that, but now since I'm on my own, it's like I have more stake in the game. Like I
Yeah.
can't screw stuff up like that,
Yeah.
otherwise I'm screwed.
Yes.
So now I love it. And it's like as soon as I get paid, I know what bills come out of that biweekly paycheck. I'm on there and I'm like, oh, I got a little extra. I'll give a little extra to this. I'll do that. Like now I love that shit. That's like one of my favorite feelings. But before, yeah, I'd be like, if I just don't look at it, it's not a problem.
Yes. That's exactly it. Yeah. That is a great example. I mean, you're right. Like now life has kind of showed you like you have to do this and maybe it's not as scary
Yeah.
as you
Yeah.
once felt it was, which is great. That shows progress, that shows growth, that shows healing. Those are all really, really good things. But there was probably a time where that felt very overwhelming and it was easier to
Yeah.
push that to someone else, if you will.
Yeah. 100%.
Okay. So all that being said, coming into life in that way, like what are you here to let go of? And that's really the tunnel vision that can be a part of your outlook. Maybe even overindulgence, getting too caught up in sensory stuff. So food, drink, anything else that gives you pleasure. Um, but doing too much of it can not be good for you in some way. And again, that fixed value system or being closed to anyone challenging your beliefs or what you value. Again, getting stuck in those emotions or what you know to be true. I've seen some people where, from their perspective, life needs to go, step one, step two, step three, step four, and end of story. But being open to someone challenging that and really questioning yourself to say, why do I believe this? Why do I do it this way? Is there maybe a better way to do it?
May I ask, okay, so these are things I'm supposed to learn in this life,
To let go of. Yeah, learn to
let
let
go
go
of?
of.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is it possible that I've already done that or am in the process of doing it? Because I feel like for a lot of these, I'm like at the beginning stages of it. Obviously, there's still a lot to go and learn and do and whatever, but a lot of them, I'm like, oh, we're doing that. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. But yes, I mean, life throws you curveballs and life throws these lessons at you. And, in your mind, you're like, oh, this is a big challenge. I need to move past this. But it's also a push in the direction from the universe to push you closer to your paths, your life path and your life
Hmm.
direction. So yes, it's very possible whatever challenges you have come through, you have encountered some of these and you have worked beyond it. Absolutely, that's possible. But again, that shows the growth and the healing that you've already done.
Hmm.
And that's a great thing. That's a
Yeah.
really great thing. So, in terms of the things that are to let go, do not take this the wrong way. Don't take this the wrong way, but leaving the nest to do something big,
Wait, say that again.
leaving the nest to
Uh huh.
do something big, feeling comfortable to get out of the nurturing environment you're from to
Yeah.
go out and do something on your own. Standing on your own 2 feet, if you will, carving out your own path. So I say, don't take this the wrong way because it doesn't mean disengage from your family. That's not what this
No.
means. It just means getting to a place that you're comfortable leaving those attachments and doing something all on your own and stepping into a leadership position. So it doesn't mean you have to, move halfway across the country, anything that big, but it's really about asking you to take a big step forward on your own in a big way in terms of your
Do you
career.
mean like getting out of her comfort
Yeah.
zone to become who she's meant to be?
Yes,
Is that what you mean?
exactly. Exactly.
Okay.
But oftentimes what I see with this position is that comfort zone is very much tied to the home in some way or your family in some way. Um,
I think I'm kind of going through this one too, because obviously the divorce and all of that, I feel like is a step on that. Also, very much lately, Abby, we've talked about how we both feel like we're meant to do bigger things and go do something more. So it's very much showing up right now. So I feel like, yeah, yeah.
yeah, exactly. That is exactly what you're meant to do, is to do bigger things and really shine to a bigger audience in some way, shape, or form. But again, also in terms of what to let go, insecurity leading to inaction. Again, letting your
Mm,
fears letting the
yep,
fears get the best of you in those
yep.
situations.
That's very much still in progress. That's been in progress for years.
Yes, I can understand that. Understand that. Okay. So what are your gifts? So those are some of the things to let go of, but what are your gifts from this? Like again, when you bring this with you, it's not all stuff to throw away. There's stuff to keep from that. And that is a talent for empowering the projects and the businesses of others. So, and I think you and I talked about this before in a previous reading,
Mhm.
connecting with someone else and empowering them, like really enmeshing yourself with somebody else and seeing how can I help you reach your greater potential? Because when you help other people reach their greater potential, that comes back to you like tenfold.
Yeah, it's like a win-win-win
Exactly.
situation.
It's a win win win
Yeah.
situation. But also, being like an editor, for example, or even a psychologist, but having an ability to kind of see and understand people and understand how they think
Mhm.
and different mindsets that they might have. So when I say editor, it's because you have the potential where you can read something that somebody wrote and understand the point they're trying to get across and be able to make edits so that they don't lose their voice, they don't lose the storyline, but it's a better piece of work, if you will. But you're helping someone in the process of that. So that's another gift. But also being able to manage with crisis situations really well, being able to understand what needs to happen in a point of crisis.
Mhm.
And not that I would ever say, I want you to live in a crisis mode. I really do not. But I do want you to pick something or do something and focus your time in situations that force you to grow and force you to transform in some way, shape, or form. If a job or if a career or a relationship starts to get stagnant and you feel like you're in a comfort zone versus a growth zone, that's not good for you. You really need to continue to evolve your skills and be
Mhm.
pushed to do something different and bigger.
I swear I haven't shared our
I
text
was gonna
messages
say
with
it, this is
Marcy. I haven't
crazy.
told her anything.
Yeah. You're just really hitting, like, everything on the head. Yep.
Oh,
Mhm.
good. Good.
Yep.
So, what are you here to lean into? So again, that's a little bit about what you're here to let go of. It's a little bit about the gifts that you do have. Now, how do you put that forward? How do you lean into that in terms of your overall life purpose? I can't say this enough when I say the word transformation and empowerment. Those are like two words that are just like screaming at me when I look at your birth chart, like leaning into something that helps you transform and helps you empower other people. Those are just two extremely important things for you to develop in this lifetime. And how do you go through your own personal dramas, your own personal challenges, and force yourself to become somebody else, to kind of help force yourself to grow into another person, if you will? It's like a rebirth. Like, this is such an important life for you to really challenge. who you were versus
Mhm.
who you need to become, if that makes sense. And it's also, this life is really about forcing you to really step into a leadership role, whatever that might be, whatever that might be, but you have the talents to be a leader and to kind of naturally step into the spotlight and get more and more comfortable in the spotlight, especially from a public viewing perspective.
Hmm.
So those are things
Okay.
that probably don't feel comfortable. They may not make sense to you.
I would say those ones. Now, everything else, like I said, I was like, yep, yep, you got it.
Yeah.
But this one, I'm like, huh,
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's very common. That's a very
Okay.
common response because, again, these are things that we're not used to. These are the things the universe is trying to push us to. So they don't feel comfortable. They feel brand new. They don't always make sense, but it is something, as you continue and think about this conversation, you're going to come back to it. And as you go through life, things will probably pop up. And it's like,
Yeah.
oh, okay, I need to be more open to this. And when I say transform, I'm really thinking about, there's always like esoteric type things, topics, or different things that maybe aren't a little bit more taboo, like some of the things I mentioned, like some of those harder topics and being emotionally vulnerable that might be
Mhm.
harder for you. It's really about tapping into that for yourself and maybe even sharing more of that in a public way, or connecting with other people and helping them share their stories on how they can grow and become something bigger and better as well.
Okay. I'm intrigued.
Yeah. All right. So to kind of wrap it up, what do you do with all this information? Like, so what? What's the so what of here? So I can speak from personal experience. When I really understood what I was here to let go of and what I needed to lean into, it completely changed how I show up in every aspect of my life. Completely. Um, I can give an example like my past life things are very similar to Abby's, not identical, but similar. And one of the things I hated doing at work was like scheduling things and being proactive about getting meetings on the books, but also looking at the details. Like it would just exhaust me and I would dread it. And so then I'd put it off. And guess what? It never happened. So once I realized this, like, oh, yeah, I'm being called out. This is exactly what I do, and like owned it and subsequently changed it, it completely changed how I show up at work for the better. Now, it's one of those things that I'm sure if you asked some of my closest coworkers, they probably said they probably wouldn't have noticed a dramatic change necessarily, but it does lead to small incremental benefits along the way. And again, when I said about what are the things you need to lean into and what is your overall purpose, you're not going to wake up one day feeling like, oh my gosh, I feel like $1 million. I'm leaning into my life purpose. This is great. But you will start to see very little small things contributing to the bigger picture. Things start to fall in place a lot easier. You start to feel a greater sense of contentment, more joy, more happiness. And again, it all leads to self-confidence. So in small ways, how can you incorporate this? How can you think about this? And then how do you bring it to life? Because that's the benefit to it.
I feel like my wheels are just turning.
I know it's a lot. It's a lot. I told you this is deep. It's a lot to take in.
Yeah.
So I can't believe I left you both speechless.
Yeah, that doesn't happen very often.
We're both just like, uh-huh.
Yeah. All right. Are we ready to talk about Aries season?
Think so.
I don't I feel
Woo,
like every time you
swerve.
get on here, we're like,
Right. No, I feel like this one was much lighter. Li- Even though
Yeah.
it was like deeper stuff, it was like this one didn't scare me like that.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. That's good.
This one makes me more excited. The other ones I was like, oh shit.
I don't remember what we talked about last time. I know we talked about Pisces season, but what relationship stuff. That's right. Okay.
Yeah. And I think I had something because the first one we talked about Saturn return.
Yes,
And
that's
then I
right.
had my Pluto return. I don't know. I had a lot of returns real
Yeah,
fast. I
that's
don't
right.
know.
You had Pluto on
I
your
was scared.
ascendant. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, Pluto. Yeah, that's right. I forgot about that. All right, let's talk Aries season. So I, for one, cannot wait for Aries season. Aries season starts on the 20th, on March 20th, and it is going to be the energetic shift that we have all been needing. So if you
Oh, thank
remember,
goodness.
yes, you remember last time I was on here, I was talking about Pisces season. I told you it was going to be a doozy. I don't know about the both of you. I felt like it was a doozy. It was,
You couldn't have stressed that
yeah,
enough, Marcy.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
I felt exhausted the whole time.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes. Exhausted, messy. So many people around me got sick. I mean, it's just, I just felt like I was walking around with a wet blanket all on me. Like, when is this going to end? We all need this reset.
Yes.
So the good news is the reset's coming. On the 18th, we have a new moon in Pisces. And this is significant, because, Abby, this is happening right on your ascendant, this new moon, which is good. But it's also the first time we've had a lunation in Pisces that has not been an eclipse. So that means that it's not going to be as jarring as maybe the last few lunations in Pisces has been. It is definitely going to feel like a shift, like an energy shift, an energy reset. This new moon on the 18th is also really significant because it marks the end of eclipse season. So when I mentioned earlier Pisces season was going to be a doozy, part of the reason is because it was also eclipse season. And things just feel unsettled during eclipse season. You tend to notice more changes, more dramatic shifts, etc. And it can just, again, bring up these feelings of misdirection or just not quite knowing where you want to move forward. So that new moon is going to officially close the eclipse portal, as we say. And then on the 20th is when Aries season officially starts. Now, Aries season is the technical astrological new year, which means like anything you associate. So it's also the first day of spring. So new growth coming about. And Aries season, when you think about two signs, the signs of Pisces versus Aries, in my mind, are like the two most dramatic differences. Aries season and Aries in general is all about being a go-getter, being bold, being courageous, being aggressive even, or essentially doing things without apology. That's Aries season. And I feel like we are finally going to start getting clarity around life in general and being able, like, okay, we're moving forward now, versus the Pisces season, which maybe felt sluggish for a lot of us. So I cannot wait for Aries season this year. One of the things I really love doing on Aries season is called a vision board. So I'm sure you've heard of a vision board before. This is nothing new. But when you do it in alignment with the Aries new moon, it's a little bit more powerful because, again, Aries season is the start of the astrological new year. But the rule with a vision board is that you have to get back to old school, cutting images out and gluing them on paper. You cannot make a Pinterest board of it. It has to be something physical. And what I like to do is I like to look at it like every 3 months to see what has maybe started to come to fruition. But I especially like to look at it when it's the Aries full moon. So we're coming up to an Aries new moon towards the end of Aries season. Um, but the Aries full moon in the end of September, I really like to see what has come to full fruition by that point in time.
So you say do this vision board on the 18th?
No, the 18th is the Pisces new moon. The Aries new moon is the 17th. It's April 17th.
April 17th. Okay.
Yeah. So again, you're going to start to feel that energetic shift as soon as the 18th, which is what, Wednesday, Thursday?
Wednesday.
Wednesday.
Yeah.
And then it's officially Aries season, the spring equinox as well on March 20th. So again, feeling like the slog that you might have been moving through, you're going to start to feel that lift. And if there's been anything that's really hasn't been clear, you're going to start to get clarity on that, especially towards like the middle part of April. One day I want you to write down in particular, April 13th, a beautiful day astrologically.
Why?
So Venus will be in Taurus, which is its sign of exaltation. doing a sextile with Jupiter in Cancer, which is also its exaltation. Actually, Venus is its home sign of Taurus, not exaltation. But it's like, I'm trying to think of a non-technical way to describe it. It's like having a planet. So when a planet is in its what we call home sign, or a sign it does really well in, it's even like it really can perform extremely well. So Venus is like a very lovely benefic planet, and so is Jupiter. And when they're both in really positive signs, like it just helps boost all the good things and blessings that they can bring. And then when they're making very positive aspects to each other, it like intensifies that. So it's a day to look forward to. It's a great day to connect with people, to explore bigger ideas, bigger thoughts, kind of tend to your relationships, go on a trip with someone you enjoy their time with. It's an awesome time for that.
Pack your bags, Abby. Let's go.
I just said I wanted to go to New York.
You did.
So that's Aries season. Very much looking forward to the reset. I think we all are feeling like we can get some energy back for sure.
Yes, definitely.
Hopefully.
Well, I think I learned a lot today again.
Good.
And to anybody listening, if you want to learn your past life, what you need to let go of and lean into, you can book a birth chart reading
Yeah. You can do
with
birth chart
Marci
reading. Yep.
at starlightastrology.net.
Thank you. Thank you. Oh, one final thing. If you are interested in doing like what I would call a past life regression, like getting into the details of who you were and how you showed up and getting more targeted in terms of what those things are that you may have brought with you to this life, I do have a contact who's excellent at this. I can send you the details to put in the show notes as well.
Okay, that sounds great.
Awesome. Thank you, ladies.
Thanks, Marci.
Thanks, Marci.
All right.
We'll see you here in another few weeks.
Sounds good. All right. Bye.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.